Welcome to Exact Training. This lesson is on navigating the report and batch menus in the MAX System Manager. During this lesson, you will learn how to navigate the report and batch menus in the MAX System Manager. The report and batch menus contain items that are essential to maintaining your MAX system. The User Security Report details which module permissions have been set for all existing MAX users. Also covered are several batch utilities used to maintain your MAX data. Included utilities allow you to audit your MAX tables, make mass changes to order deliveries, purge part stock data, reset cycle count data, and reset month-to-day and year-to-day figures in MAX. Let's get started. The User Security Report will list user security settings assigned for each MAX user. The report can be run against one user or across a range of users. Listed will be each MAX user the report was run against, showing the security settings for all modules in MAX. This report is useful in the auditing process or to compare security settings from one MAX user to another. The report is accessed from the MAX System Manager, Reports menu, User Security item. To access the User Security Report, click on the Reports menu from the System Manager. Select the User Security menu item. The User Security Report window will open, and we will choose the criteria against which the report will be run. Next to the Start field, click the drop-down arrow to expand the list of MAX users. We will run the report against all MAX users. To do this, choose the user at the top of the list. Next, click the drop-down box next to the End field. Now choose the last user name in the list. This will complete the range of users that the report will look at, in this case, all users. After choosing whether to print the report to the window or a printer, click the Report button to generate it. The User Security Report will open, now displaying the first page and shows the user CLEM and the permissions that are set for Bill of Lading module in MAX. Click the Next Page arrow to scroll through the pages showing the security settings for the various MAX modules. To go to the end of the report, click the Last Page button. The report can be exported to a location in a variety of formats. To export the report for later viewing or distribution, click on the Export button. The Export Report window will open, where you can choose the destination to save the report to, as well as the desired file type. For this example, we will save the report to the local workstation's EFW folder. Next, enter the name you wish to give the report in the File Name field. To save the report, click the Save button. Once saved, a message will indicate that the operation was successful. The report can now be found in the EFW folder. Click OK to close the confirmation window. When finished with the report, click the X in the top right corner to close. And finally, click the Close button to exit from the User Security Reports dialog box. And we're done with this section. The next topic is navigating the Batch menu. The Batch menu, located in the System Manager, provides a link to 5 utilities in MAX that allow you to modify data in MAX in a batch process, eliminating the need to change certain records manually when a large amount of data needs to be manipulated at one time. The first item in the Batch menu is the Audit MAX Tables. When you delete an order that has requirements, like a parent order, some requirements may remain in the MAX database. These are commonly called orphaned requirements. You can audit the data tables to identify and delete all orphaned requirements from the requirements detail and job progress tables. You must have right or supervisory rights to the Audit MAX Tables feature to delete the orphaned requirements. To access the tables utility, click the Batch menu from the System Manager. Choose Audit Exact MAX Tables from the menu. The Audit Process window will then open, where we will choose which options to run. Click the drop-down box in the Options section to choose which tables to run the audit process against. For this example, we will run the utility against the Requirement Detail table. To generate a report that will list the affected records, place a check mark in the Create Output to the Disk checkbox. The path where you want the report saved to is seen in the Audit Report field. Either change to the desired directory or leave the default option as seen here. To start the process, click the Audit button. The System Manager window will open and a message will appear indicating that the utility ran successfully. If no orphaned records are found, the message will indicate that, as in the example here. Click OK to close this message. To see the results of the operation, click the View Report button to open the audit report. A notepad window will open and it will show the results of the batch process. The most recent results are shown at the bottom. Earlier results of the utility can be seen above, separated by the row of asterisks. In this example, we can see that 0 records were deleted by the most recent attempt, while the first time the utility was run, 1 record was deleted. When finished viewing, close the report by clicking the X in the top right corner. When finished with the audit process, click the Close button to close this utility. You can change delivery dates for either all line items or selected line items on either a purchase order or a sales order without editing every line individually. To do so, you will select the Batch menu, then Order Delivery Mass Changes. In that screen, you can change due dates and promise dates for specific orders all at once, without the need to go into each line item in the order and make the changes manually. Additionally, line items may either be placed on hold or released from hold here. To see how the process works, we'll first take a look at an existing order in MAX, so we'll be able to tell how the utility works. From the Customer tab in the System Manager, click on Sales Order Processing to launch the module. Here we see Sales Order 2000246. Let's look at the due dates for the various line items on this order. In this example, the due date for the first line item in the sales order is June 8, 2012. Line 2 has a date of June 22nd and line 3 of July 25th. We're now going to exit this sales order and go to the Order Delivery Mass Change utility and use that to change a couple of the dates. Click the X to close the sales order. From the System Manager screen, click the Batch menu. Click on Order Delivery Mass Change to launch the utility. The Order Delivery Mass Change box will open, where we can choose the various options relating to changing the due dates of the order in question. Double-click on the order number box to browse for the order. If you know the number, you can also type it directly in the field. The Order Master window will open, where we will find the order we looked at a few minutes ago. Click on the heading for order number to run a reverse sort, bringing the most recent orders to the top. Double-click to choose our order 2000246. Here we can choose which line and delivery numbers we want to make the changes on. Click in the Ending Line box. Here we'll enter 02 so the changes will affect lines 1 and 2. You can choose the Select All Dates checkbox. This will change the due date regardless of what date is currently showing in the order. To limit the change to a single date, simply enter the date you want in the Current Due Date field. For this example, we will choose to select All Dates. Next, we'll enter the new due date that we want to appear on the sales order. Double-click in the New Due Date field to open the Calendar tool. And the Shop Calendar window will open. We will choose a date further out in the future, so click on the right arrow to advance the months. Let's change the due date to August 1st. Double-click on the 1 box to choose the date. This utility also provides the functionality to place line items on hold. To do this, click on the drop-down box and choose the Place Line Items on Hold option. Click the Process button at the bottom of the screen to effect the changes. Now click the X in the upper right corner to close the utility. Now we'll go back and take a look at our sales order to see the changes in action. With the order open, we can see that the first 2 line items have the new date of August 1st, while the third line item remains untouched as per the options we chose in the Order Delivery Mass Change utility. Now let's talk about purging a part stock record. To purge part stock records that have 0 quantity on hand, select System Manager, Batch menu, Purge Part Stock Data. No records that have a quantity on hand greater than 0 will be affected. Your options are to purge all part numbers or all stock ID by cutoff date, or a range of part numbers or range of stock IDs by cutoff date. The cutoff date is the primary selection criteria for the purge. Your cutoff date can be changed by entering the number of calendar days you want Max to go back. The date field used in this purge is the stock date from the part stock file. If you have put quantities for reorder, ROP, ROQ on some of your part stock records in Inventory Control, you can choose to keep these records intact by selecting Exclude Records with Stockroom ROP, ROQ. This utility is useful for removing unwanted records from certain reports, such as the cycle count reports, and is necessary for deleting a stock ID. To launch the Purge Part Stock Data utility, click on the Batch menu at the top of the Max System Manager. Click on Purge Part Stock to open the utility. The Purge Part Stock window will open, where we are presented with various options available for the purge. The 3 options available when choosing which parts and stock ID to purge are All, Range, and Individual. You may choose one of these 3 options for both your part ID and stock ID combinations. First, let's click on Range. After choosing Range, you are provided 2 fields in the Part Identifier range to the right, where you can enter start and ending part numbers in a range to be affected by the purge. Now let's look at the Individual option by clicking that radio button. After choosing the Individual radio button, you will be able to add a single part to be affected by the purge. This is useful for when you only want to remove zero quantity records for one part. For the purpose of this exercise, we will purge all zero quantity part records. Choose the All Radio button to make this selection. The Stock ID Purge options are identical to the Part ID Purge options. Selecting a range will allow you to select a range of stock IDs to be affected by the purge. Selecting Individual will relegate the purge to a single stock ID. For this exercise, we will select to purge zero quantity records from all stock IDs by choosing the All Radio button. In the Cutoff Date field, you can enter the number of days the utility will go back during the purge. Choosing 0 will delete all zero quantity records defined by the criteria chosen in the Part ID and Stock ID options above. Choosing 14 will purge the previous 14 days of zero quantity records, and so on. We will choose 0 for this example. You can also choose a cutoff date instead of entering the number of days. To exclude records with stockroom reorder point and reorder quantity, place a check in the appropriate box. Click Process to run the purge process. A dialog box will appear on the screen asking you to verify whether you want to, in fact, run the purge. Click OK to begin the purge process. The status field and status bar will indicate once the purge has completed. We can take a look at the records affected by the purge by clicking on the View Log button at the bottom of the screen. The log file will show us which part and stock ID combinations were affected by the purge. When finished viewing, click the X to close the report. Now choose either the X at the top right of the screen or the Close button at the bottom of the window to close the Purge Part Stock window. To reset the cycle count parameters of your MAX Part Master, select System Manager, Batch Menu, Reset Cycle Count Data. This utility will clear any combination of out of tolerance, total, and last cycle count dates for individual parts, a range of parts, or all parts in the system, depending on the criteria you choose. To access the Reset Cycle Count utility, click on the Batch menu from the System Manager. Click on Reset Cycle Count menu item to launch the utility. The Reset Cycle Count screen will open where we will set the criteria for the records we want to reset. Select Range to enter a range of part IDs to run the reset against. Select the Individual Radio button to reset the values for an individual MAX part. For this exercise, we will run the utility against a single part. After choosing the Individual Radio button, click Add to select the part. The Part Master browser will open, showing a list of MAX parts to choose from. We will choose Part ID 11100 for our example. You can check the checkbox next to Clear Cycle Count Out of Tolerance field to clear out this field in the MAX Part Master. This sets the total number of counts out of tolerance to 0. This should be used when you are first starting your cycle count program and should be used at the year end to reset the counters for the new measurement period. Check the checkbox next to Clear Cycle Count Total field to clear this field in the Part Master. This sets the total number of cycle counts to 0. This should be used when you are first starting your cycle count program and should be used at the year end to reset the counters for the new measurement period. Finally, Check the checkmark next to Clear Last Cycle Count Date to clear this field in the Part Master. The Clear Last Cycle Count Date selection should only be used when initializing a new cycle count program. This will clear the last cycle count date in both the Part Master and the Part Stock files for the part selected. If this is chosen, the next cycle count report will prompt you to count all parts in the cycle count program. After making the appropriate selections, click the Reset button to run the utility. No actual data records will be deleted from the database. A message will appear asking you to confirm the operation. Click OK to process. Next, a message will appear confirming that the utility ran correctly against the chosen criteria. Click OK to close the window. Click the Close button to exit the Reset Cycle Count screen. Now we'll take a look at the effect of running the utility against the chosen criteria. To do so, let's launch the Bill of Materials module by clicking on the Engineering tab in the System Manager. Next, click on Bill of Materials to launch the module. After the module launches, click on the Part Master icon to launch the MAX Part Master. Now we'll take a look at the part that we ran the Reset Cycle Count utility against. Enter 11100 in the Part ID field to bring up that part. Now click the Inventory tab and notice that the year-to-date counts, one of the affected fields, is set to 0, as well as the out-of-tolerance field. Finally, the last cycle count date has also been cleared out as per the chosen criteria. To exit the screen, click the Close button. Finally, click the X in the upper right corner to close the MAX Bill of Materials module. The Accounting Purge utility should be run at the end of your company's fiscal periods. At the end of each fiscal month, you should run the purge for all month-to-date data. This will zero out the listed month-to-date data fields. At the end of the company's fiscal year, you should run the purge for all year-to-date data and month-to-date data. Selecting the Select All Year-to-Date will automatically select month-to-date also. The purpose of running this purge is to reset the month-to-date and year-to-date counters. MAX Dialogs will display these counters for your information purposes only. Choosing to not reset these counters presents no inherent problem other than incorrect numbers displaying in the MAX counter fields. This will not affect the way MAX functions and will not affect most reports unless they include these counter fields. To launch the Reset Accounting Purge utility, click on the Batch menu from the System Manager. Then click on Reset Month-to-Date, Year-to-Date Data. The Accounting Purge window will open, where we will choose the options to run the purge against. Select individual items by checking the boxes next to the options you wish to purge. To select all records in the month-to-date data column, click on the Select All Month-to-Date button at the right of the screen. Likewise, to select individual tables to run the year-to-date purge against, click in the appropriate boxes in the year-to-date data column. To select all items in the year-to-date data column, click on the Select All Year-to-Date button at the right of the screen. If you'd like to clear all the fields in the month-to-date data column, click on the Clear All Month-to-Date Data button. If you'd like to clear all the fields in the year-to-date data column, Click on the button for Clear All Year-to-Date Data. To view a report of the records that are affected by the purge, click on the View Report button at the bottom of the screen. The report will open, allowing you to view all records affected by the purge. When finished viewing, close the report by clicking the X in the upper right corner. And now to exit the Accounting Purge window, click the Close button. After watching this lesson, you should be familiar with how to navigate the Report and Batch menus in the MAX System Manager. Covered items included utilities allowing you to audit your MAX tables, make mass changes to order deliveries, purge part stock data, reset cycle count data, and reset month-to-date and year-to-date figures in MAX. Thank you for participating in Exact Training.